Hello, welcome back to Homeschool Wherever. My name is Carmen Sognonvi, and in this video, I'm going to be sharing some of our family's favorite things this month, and these are all things that we're using in our homeschool. Now, this is the first time I'm doing one of these videos, and I was completely inspired by Tori at OGLESBY OHANA, who has a great YouTube channel you should check out if you haven't already. I've really enjoyed watching her monthly favorite videos and have actually come across some really great resources that way. So I thought I would try to do my own version. It's going to be more of a secular vibe, and hopefully you'll find some fun resources or books that are going to be useful in your homeschool. So the first thing I have been loving this month is my Educator's Library card. So this has to be one of the best tips for homeschooling I have ever received, and full credit goes to Valerie at Our Homeschool Castle. She's also a homeschooling YouTuber. I'm going to link her down below. And I saw this tip in one of her videos and I was like, what? So it was news to me. I suspect this may be news to at least some of you, so let me explain. So libraries actually have different types of library cards. And if you're a teacher at a traditional school, you get a special library card that lets you take out tons more books. You get to keep them for way longer than the average person. And it's probably got tons more perks that I don't even know about yet. So first of all, I had no idea that these special library cards existed. And then secondly, I also had no idea that because we are homeschooling parents, we now count as educators or teachers, and we're eligible to get these cards. We live in Brooklyn, New York, so our library system is a Brooklyn Public Library. So if you're a fellow Brooklynite, know that this is something that you can do as well. All I had to do was show them the email from the Department of Education saying that they accepted our letter of intent, and that kind of officially certifies us as a homeschooling family. And then I was able to get this magical card. So now instead of only being able to put holds on 10 items at a time, I can put holds on 50 items at a time. And instead of only being able to check out 20 books at a time, I can check out 100 books at a time. I was telling my sisters about this and they were making so much fun of me. They're like, Carmen, relax. But I was so excited, and it's been so great for our homeschool because now I don't have to be so stingy with books anymore. If I go off on a tangent and I'm like, ooh, it would be really cool to do a unit study next month or the month after that on this, I can go nuts and reserve all the books that I can find on that topic. And then once I get them, then I can kind of weed out the ones that are less useful. And I've also been using this special library card to take out a ton of art history books. And that's been amazing. So without having to spend any money, we suddenly have this really incredible homeschool library here at home. The only downside is that I now have to buy like multiple new bookshelves, because if you've ever watched our homeschool room tour video, which I'm gonna link below, you'll see that I was naive enough to believe at the beginning of the school year that one tiny little shelf would be enough for homeschooling books. So clearly I need to expand the storage, but that's the first favorite of this month. Okay, before I continue to the other favorites, I just want to let you know that if you're new to this channel, we are a secular multiracial family living in New York City, and we're homeschooling for the first time this year. We have two daughters, Sean, who's in 6th grade, and Ella, who's in 3rd grade. We're really passionate about using travel to bring our homeschooling lessons to life. This channel is all about documenting our homeschooling journey, so if that sounds of interest to you, I hope you'll subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next video. Also, we are full-time family travel creators, so if you'd like to learn more about that side of our lives, check out our travel channel at Top Flight Family. So another favorite this month is this Sketch Your Sticker book. Inside, it's really just a bunch of blank stickers that are in different shapes, and so kids are able to color them in or add detail and just completely customize them. So Sean and Ella have decided to use all of these custom stickers to completely cover the front and back of their sketchbooks. So now it kind of looks like this and this, and it's really fun to kind of see the creations that they come up with. Okay, another favorite of ours right now is the Inheritance Games. So this is our read aloud for this month, and it is a YA novel. It's about this young girl named Avery. She's a teenager, basically. Her mom suddenly dies. She goes to live with her half-sister, who she didn't grow up with. She basically is, from a very low-income family. Then all of a sudden she finds out that this billionaire that she doesn't even know has decided to leave his entire fortune to her and cut out the rest of his blood relatives. But there are some interesting strings attached and some things that she has to do in order to get the money, and it's very mysterious. We're only about a quarter of the way through, so we have no idea what's happening yet, but it's been a really good read. So the sticker book that I mentioned earlier was Ella's pick. She decided that that was one of her favorite things right now. Now for Sean, one of her favorite things this month are these two books by Christopher Hart. And they are basically like books that teach you how to draw. And they're very specific in showing you kind of anatomy, but then really easy ways to be able to draw people in different poses and postures. And just from kind of playing around with these books for a week or two, I've seen the quality of Sean's drawings increase rapidly. So they're really good. I definitely recommend. Oh, and I should mention that I'm going to be linking all of these items below. So if you're interested in any of them, you'll know where to find them. Now, another one of our favorites right now is The Girl Who Married a Skull. And this month we are actually doing a unit study all about mythology. And this book is a collection of myths from various countries in Africa, but it presents the stories in a graphic novel format, and it is so compelling. The stories are hilarious, they're really engaging, and my girls have both been kind of fighting over this book, like they're taking turns, each of them reading it before bedtime. So we're all big fans of this book. Another thing our family has been loving this month is the series Our Planet on Netflix. And this is Sir David Attenborough's series that is all about just different parts of nature. And we've watched, I think, about 2.5 episodes now. And I'll often put this on when the girls are working on an art project, and they enjoy this show so much. Like, they are so into it. They're like, oh shoot, whether it's like a predator catching its prey, like they are so engaged. They're like hooping and hollering. It's almost like they're watching a sports game. The cinematography is absolutely stunning, and it's just a great all-around show. I mean, it's kind of a classic at this point. It's not like I just discovered it, but it's our first time watching it as a family, and we're loving it. Another thing that our family loved is the movie Jingle Jangle that just came out on Netflix. So we were never that family before, but in 2020, we've suddenly become that family where Christmas basically started the day after Halloween. Literally on November 1st, Sean decided to put on all of her Christmas pajamas and come down and start blasting Mariah Carey's All I Want for Christmas. And since then, our family has been on a non-stop Christmas kick. So Jingle Jangle is the story about an inventor who comes up with these incredible creations. However, one day his apprentice steals his entire book of inventions, all of his designs, and the man is left really broken. Now, I don't want to give too much away, but I will say that this movie definitely explores themes like loss. It explores family, strained relationships, how those relationships can be repaired. It's about hope. It's about believing in possibility. And it's kind of a very non-traditional Christmas movie, I would say, but that's actually what makes it so good. So we really enjoyed it. Plus, it's really cool to see a little Black girl portrayed as this total math genius. So that's definitely inspiring as well. So one YouTube channel that we have been loving is Crash Course. I have to say, I have actually seen this channel recommended multiple times in various homeschool Facebook groups that I'm in, but it wasn't until this month that we actually made use of it. So in addition to mythology, we're also doing a bit of a unit study on the history of aviation, because November is National Aviation History Month. And so in addition to studying the history of how flight developed, we've also been studying a little bit about the physics of it. And I found that Crash Course has a couple of really great videos that explain gravity in a very compelling, kind of easy to understand and fun way. So if you haven't checked out Crash Course, it's definitely worth a look. Another YouTube channel that we are loving is called INDIGO ARTBOX. So this month for art history, we've been focusing a lot on the Impressionists. And the reason that we did that is because I knew that we would be checking out the Impressionist collection at the Philadelphia Museum of Art, which is a little trip that we did this month. And so this channel has some really great videos on Degas and also Monet. And what I appreciate about the videos is that they're fairly short, so each one is about 5 or 6 minutes long. And it's got just the right balance of enough detail to make it like actually truly informational, but then also explaining things in a way that's suitable for sort of an elementary school age child to understand. Now, there are also a couple of art supplies that we are loving this month. The first one is brush markers from OHUHU. And it's funny because Sean had actually asked me to get her these like last year, but I think she sent me the wrong link, because OHUHU makes brush markers, but then they also make these like regular like chisel tip markers. So I ended up getting her the chisel tips, since that seems to be what she was asking for. So I finally got her the right markers, and these things are amazing. They definitely live up to the hype. They're kind of like a dupe for these really expensive markers called Copic, I think. So they're really satisfying to color with, and we've been having a lot of fun in our art projects using these. We also started experimenting with watercolors this month. So we got these watercolors from WINSOR and Newton. And the reason I like them is because the box is so tiny, it's super portable, and it's got just the right amount, I think, that we really need right now. I mean, we're still beginners. It would be overkill to get like a huge, like full-size palette. So this is like a half pan. And we've been having a lot of fun creating art with these watercolors. watercolors. Now, another thing that I am loving, and I know it's like super dorky, is this reading light that I got from Amazon. So for most of the last decade, I've mostly been reading ebooks because I had actually done this huge decluttering where I decided to get rid of almost all of my physical books in order to save space. Since we started homeschooling and since I started making regular trips to the library, I've gone back to reading from physical books, and man, it's like so much more pleasurable. Like, I'm a big fan of ebooks for their convenience and the lack of storage that you need. I just find that the level of engagement and absorption, there's just no comparison if you're talking ebooks versus physical real life books, because the physical books just are so much more engaging for me. So one issue that I've been having in my bedroom is that we have this headboard where the headboard kind of like wraps around to the side like this. And because of that, the light that's on my bedside table isn't really able to kind of like cast a light onto my book when I'm reading in bed. And then also when we're reading in our living room on the couch in the mornings, the lighting there is also like not the best for reading, to be honest. And in the past, I've had those traditional reading lights that clip onto the book, but those are kind of a pain, and I don't know, they just kind of get in the way of the reading process itself. So I found this reading light on Amazon that actually goes around your neck. And at first I thought it was really weird, but then once I started using it, I was like, oh my God, this is the best thing ever. But it just makes it so effortless because your book is completely unencumbered by any clips or light, but yet it's so much better for your eyes and you're seeing the text so much more clearly. So I'm probably gonna end up getting one for each of my girls as well. So I think this way we'll all be able to see our books that much better. And then speaking of books, I have always been a big fan of like crime fiction and mysteries. Ever since I was a little kid, I was reading like Agatha Christie and Sherlock Holmes, as well as the more kiddie things like Nancy Drew. And in the last 10 years or so, my favorite genre is like Nordic noir or Scandinavian crime fiction. So I've gone through all of the Wallander books, all of the Department Q books, all of the Harry Hole books. And if you know the genre, then you know the books that I'm talking about. But I recently discovered a new book and a new author that I am loving. The book is called The Ice Beneath Her, and it's by Camilla Greeby. I'm not sure how to pronounce her last name, but it is a fantastic murder mystery. If you enjoyed Gone Girl, you'll definitely like this book because it also has some of those like unexpected twists. So that is definitely one of my favorite things in November. Okay, if you would like to see what our daily homeschool routine is like, check out that video right there. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. Go follow us on both TikTok and Instagram at Homeschool Wherever. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.